Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our presentation, Building Positive Math Mindsets. We're very excited to join you this evening for this presentation. My name is Madhu Govind Kapoor, and I'm here from West Ed.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janine Schmidt, also from West Ed.
And in today's session, we're going to be talking about math mindsets and how our math mindsets are shaped by our environment and our lived experiences. We'll take some time to reflect on our own early math memories and how they might shape our thoughts and feelings about math. We'll also share different strategies for how to build our own or others' positive math mindsets. And I'm seeing here some introductions already here in the chat. So feel free throughout our presentation today to share your ideas and questions. We've got some questions for you as well. We'd really love this presentation to be as interactive as possible and would love to hear from you. So please introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and we're excited to get started. So the content that we're presenting today was developed as part of the California Statewide Early Math Initiative, which has as its mission to improve math and science outcomes for children ages 0 to 8 across the state of California. Led by the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, the California Statewide Early Math Initiative, or what we like to call CAEMI, is a collaboration between the Ames Center for Math and Science Education, West Ed, and the California State Board of Education. So as part of this initiative, we and other partners are developing a series of 10 online professional learning suites. And these suites are designed for professional development providers such as trainers, coaches, and administrators to support early childhood educators around early math. And these online suites aim to build the capacity of PD providers and support them with resources that they can then use in training and coaching with educators. So the content that we're presenting today will be a part of one of these suites. We are still in the early phases of development, so please stay tuned with news about these suites in the future. You can visit here the URL in the caption for more information about the initiative.
So I'm going to ask you all to take a moment to think about your earliest math memory and what feelings and thoughts come to mind. And please shout it out in the chat. And we know there's a delay, so we'll wait for your answers and responses and stories to roll in.
While we're waiting, I'll share my earliest math memory. I was thinking about this right before this session. It was when I was young, I was maybe 3 or 4. Everywhere that I walked, my parents would kind of hold my hands and we would walk 1, 2, 3, and then jump, and then I would fly in the air while they kind of jumped me with holding my hands. So that was one way I was always learning how to count from 1, 2, and 3.
One of my earliest ones is about a chart because I was desperate to learn how to tie my shoes so I could get a star on the chart. And now I am very interested with my own 3-year-old trying to chart and understand math through that very organized lens. And I'm like, I'm gonna date that back to my preschool experience and how it's coming forward in my own parenting. Oh, I'm okay. So I'm starting to see it was my first source of anxiety, Leslie's sharing. So jumping rope and counting. So we're really going to see probably a mix of feelings and thoughts. So we know that everyone's experiences are different from their childhood and, what kind of stands out. Counting bears. Yeah. Oh, they're coming in fast now. Math in school was and always is so frustrating for me.
Whenever I got an answer right, it felt like a miracle. Yeah, definitely that idea of there's always one right answer in math.
Yeah. Maria's shared one where something we'll touch on later, that idea that girls aren't good at math. Is that true or false? We're going to touch on that later. So stay tuned for that. Walking, counting steps, that sounded like your experience a bit.
Oh, someone had the same experience, only counting backwards, 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Melissa, for sharing that.
So we have we have wonderful flashcards. Yep. Playing in the car, playing on your, finger, kind of just like finger plays, finger counting. Oh, speed edition. These are great. There's such diversity in these experiences. I'm reading Michelle's, that kind of a little anxiety that comes from that, like, oh, I can't memorize it, kind of how math starts to change. And it is a lot of that memorization and possibly some worry that came out of that. Well, just as we have, discovered in the research, we know that there's so many math experiences out there. Your math memory is, can bring up a variety of feelings. You might be feeling joy, curiosity. You might be feeling worry and embarrassment as you think back. So many different combinations of emotions. So where do these feelings and thoughts come from? That's what we're here to talk about. So with that, let's head to the next slide. We're going to give you a few definitions. What are math mindsets? They are a combination of your math attitudes, or how you feel about math, and your math beliefs, or which is what you think about your own math ability or the math ability of others.
So let's explore an example of somebody's math mindset. We're going to observe this video of a dad whose name is Chet Kingston, discussing his feelings and thoughts about math. And as you observe this video, we'd like you to consider how Chet's math mindset changes, and what do you think may have contributed to that mindset shift?
Math madness has taken over California as families around the state are finding that math is truly everywhere.
That's right, Phil. Parents from Eureka to Escondido are joining the movement. But the journey to math mastery isn't always easy.
It sure is not, Ange. So today we're profiling one young dad who's come a long way. Meet Chet Kingston.
Math? How am I supposed to teach him math when I wasn't good at it when I was a kid? Huh? Tell me.
That was Chet then, but today we have him live for an update.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Angie.
Chet, we understand you had a breakthrough and began to open your eyes to the world of math around you. What happened?
Well, Angie, I literally opened my eyes to the world of math around me. I mean, it's at home, in the car, on the playground, at the beach.
Wow, what an
You can count breakfast cereal at breakfast. You can fill buckets of sand at the sandbox. You can point out shapes on the street. It's everywhere.
I mean, there's no
It's
end
at the
to
grocery
math
store.
opportunity.
It's in the garden. It's at Grandma's. At Uncle Ned's. I mean, come on.
I think you stopped.
Okay. Chet became a true inspiration, and now he's coaching other parents.
I am.
So Chet, what's the most satisfying part of your job?
It's watching parents turn their little ones into little mathletes.
What's a mathlete?
It means you've conquered your fear of fractions, your addition anxiety, your subtraction stress. I am a mathlete.
Chet's message to parents: don't pass on your fear of math to your child.
Are you guys mathletes? Huh?
I'm a mathlete. Come on, you. I'm a mathlete.
All right. So again, post here in the chat, what do you think may have contributed to Chet changing his math mindset? Kara here shared math isn't all worksheets and red ink. Yep, there's so many different ways to engage in math. And one of the things that Chet shares is math is all around us. It's at the grocery store, it's at school, it's outside. There's so many different environments where we can explore math concepts.
Finding math in daily life. I'm going to just pop us back a slide since we know there's a bit of a delay. I jumped the gun. Realizing math is an everyday fun experiences. Yep. Math is everywhere.
Someone said probably seen his child struggle And there are opportunities where that productive struggle can actually be a good thing when they're kind of grappling with something and trying to problem solve. That can actually be a fun, enjoyable experience. But perhaps there's a point where that struggle maybe gets too far and something and becomes really overwhelming or challenging. And without that extra support or a way of making that experience playful and fun, it then turns into a negative experience, and that might cause some math anxiety.
Mhm. There's a couple I saw having to do with math is kind of, it's natural, it's all around us, and it's not just in the classroom. So really that expanded view of math and where it can be learned, where and when and how. Mhm. Yeah, a positive attitude. That definitely links back to what we were talking about with that math beliefs, math attitudes. Yeah.
Sharing his joy of math and the effect that it had on his child. Yeah. Our attitudes are infectious, right? The way we feel and think about something and the way that we talk about something definitely has an effect on the people that we're around. And especially as parents who are often children's first kind of teachers in the world, definitely the way that families engage around math has an important effect on children's early math experiences.
Okay.
So we'll share just a couple of things that kind of came out to us. Janine, I'll let you share first.
So one key idea I heard Chet say was, I opened my eyes to the math around me. And I'm really seeing that echoed in a lot of your comments. So many of us, as you're all suggesting, we've engaged in math as part of our everyday lives, our everyday routines. We kind of, math is there with us as we are waking up, we're drinking our coffee, we're showering, we're dressing. That's that pattern. We leave for work at a specific time. We hit our alarm clock for a few more minutes and then how long can I stay in bed? I heard that just the other day in another math presentation. How much am I going to tip on this meal? So we are always doing math every day. And again, we heard this in the video. We're seeing it in all of your real life experiences.
Yeah, the interactions that we have with math in our everyday environments and routines really influence how we feel and think about math in general. Um, One of the ideas that stood out to me was really that concept of math anxiety. And when that reporter Angie said, "Don't pass on your fear of math." And so that math anxiety is when people feel that fear or experience increased changes in their body. For example, like an increased heart rate or sweating in situations that involve math. And it seems like Chet was able to overcome those feelings and thoughts, and he even called himself a mathlete by the end of the video.
So we're going to dive in a little more to how these math mindsets develop. And we've started to touch on these a little, but your math mindset is shaped by your environment and your lived experiences. As a young child, as many of you have already described to us, you probably experienced math through daily routines, play, math activities in the home, the school, the community. You were probably receiving messages, both directly and indirectly, from others about how they feel and think about math. So again, your early memories of math might include some or all of the following. Maybe success, excitement, or growth. Maybe experiences with adults who love math. But on the other hand, there might have been elements of failure, fear, or embarrassment, and experiences with adults who felt anxious or unenthusiastic about math. Your math mindsets matter. So your math mindset can impact your interactions with other adults as well as children. And we know from decades of research that adults play a very important role in children's early math experiences. So let's look at these three areas of research. The value of math. Adults who are more aware of the importance of math in early childhood tend to spend more instructional time on math with children. Thinking about our math attitudes, adults who display more positive feelings about math can transfer those positive feelings to children. And then our math beliefs, adults who have more positive math beliefs are more likely to engage in math themselves. And then they're also more likely to extend those positive beliefs to others, including children. So there is a lot of interaction going on between how we feel and think and what we do. When you model those positive words in action, you're spreading the message that math is for everyone, regardless of gender, race, culture, ethnicity, ability, language, or socioeconomic status. Everyone can do math.
So a key part of building positive math mindsets is debunking those math myths and stereotypes. And we saw just a couple here in the chat already. And these stereotypes can prevent people from feeling that they can learn and do math, even though we know from research that everyone has the capacity to do math. So, for example, I once heard someone say that math ability is something that we're either born with or not. And they may say things like, oh, I don't have the math gene. And this spreads the message that some groups of people are likely to be better or worse at math. But Janine, what does the research actually say about that?
That's a myth. So, in fact, everyone can develop their math skills and positive math mindsets. All children are born with the capacity to learn math. Take us on to our next. Here we go.
So I'm really glad to hear that because it really can send the wrong message that only some people are math people, but in fact, everyone can be a math person. If there's any one takeaway that you take from today, it is that everyone, all of us, can be math people. I've also heard the stereotypes that boys are better at math than girls, and it sounds here from the chat that others may have heard this too. And for me, I worry that this kind of harmful stereotype can really impact young children's beliefs about their math abilities. And we know from research that when girls receive this kind of negative message, they tend to feel less confident and be less successful in math. And Janine, what does the research say about that?
So, as you can all see, this is also a myth. It's a myth that boys are better than math than girls. The fact is that young boys and girls are both equally capable in developing their math skills. So, a study in 2018 examined gender differences on math tasks with children aged 6 months all the way through 8 years, and there was no difference in how girls and boys performed on the math task at any age.
So the research is clear. How we think and feel about math is important to supporting not only our own math mindsets, but also how we support others to develop a positive relationship with math. And having a positive math mindset is often related to having a growth mindset. And share here in the chat if you've heard that term growth mindset before. Someone with a growth mindset understands that an individual's skills and knowledge can improve over time with effort, learning, and persistence. On the other hand, someone with a fixed mindset may believe that individual skills and knowledge cannot change. But using growth mindset language to discuss our math abilities can really support the way that we feel and think about math, but also the way that we support others to develop positive math mindsets. So let's practice using growth mindset language to talk about math. So on this slide, we have here 2 statements that embody a fixed mindset about math. And perhaps these statements are ones that you've made yourself at some point, or maybe you've heard somebody in your life make similar statements. How do you think you might respond if someone made a statement like this to you? And take a minute to read these statements and respond in the chat. How might you respond? I'm seeing here a lot of people have heard the concept of growth mindset before. Yep, the power of yet. I may not be able to do something yet, but I am willing to learn and grow. Yep. Joe Bowler is a very well-known scholar who's done a lot of research on early math education and talks a lot about growth mindset and persistence in early math. I know as a former math teacher, I used to hear a lot in parent teacher conferences very similar statements to that second one around math making me feel anxious or making them feel anxious. I had a lot of parents who didn't quite feel comfortable with math or had negative experiences at children, so they didn't feel confident in supporting their children. So it was really important for me as a teacher to kind of acknowledge those feelings that they had, but also encouraging them to share growth oriented messages with their children, like, well, I don't know how to do this, but let's figure it out together. Or I know who we can ask for help and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Judy?
like Judy, I was gonna say Judy's sharing, it's okay to acknowledge that anxiety and help children normalize their feelings, which again is also can be true for parents, and they're worried like, do I know how to help my child with this? How do I start? Building confidence is important. Working together, learning together.
Practice is the key. Yeah, we're not often going to get things right the very first time. It's that practice and that consistency that might help us get to where we need to be.
Mhm.
So, we'll share some examples of ways that we've thought about kind of responding to these fixed mindset statements using growth mindset language. So, the first one was I was never good at math, so I don't know how to coach others in math. And one example of a way we might respond is even as an adult, your math mindset is subject to change. You're still exploring how adults and children learn math, and you're learning how to create those positive, playful experiences for others. So, engaging in math playfully yourself, those positive experiences with math can help you feel more confident about supporting others' math learning.
Mhm. Great. I'll read the second one. So, if someone made the comment, math makes me feel anxious, so I don't like to do math with children. A way to respond and encourage that person is, you may not have enjoyed math as a child, but you can learn how to support children with math now. You can learn ways to engage playfully with math yourself. And if you speak positively about your math ability, then children will also feel that way. And again, thank you for all of your ideas in the chat. They really enrich our understanding of how to support growth mindsets.
So, we've shared one key strategy to support positive math mindsets, which is the use of growth mindset language. A second key strategy is engaging in hands on, playful math experiences. And when math experiences are playful, we might feel more comfortable exploring math ideas. For example, we might be more willing to experiment, to solve problems, make mistakes and learn from them, and engage actively and joyfully, all of which can contribute to feeling more positive thoughts and feelings about math.
So we're about to get playful. So we're going to do a kind of a hands-on playful math activity by exploring the concept of patterns together. So these kinds of experiences can help us or others we work with develop a positive math mindset. So there are different types of patterns in our everyday environments and routines. For example, you might see geometric patterns like stripes, growth patterns like a tree ring, behavioral patterns, as we talked about, eating breakfast every day, having, your shower after having your coffee. In math, we define a pattern as a sequence of continuously repeating items such as objects, shape, or numbers. So take a moment, please, to observe these two images. The first image, we're seeing a child creating a tower with alternating yellow and orange blocks. In the second image, we're looking at a beaded necklace that has multiple white beads. There's an angular bronze bead, a large kind of coral bead, another angular, and more white beads. So this is where we get playful. We're going to explore the math concept of symbolic representation. Symbolic representation involves using a set of symbols to stand for something else. We're talking about icons, shapes, colors, numbers, actions, gestures, and more. So let's all try to creatively use symbols to describe at least one of the patterns that you're observing here. Can you try to describe your pattern in the chat and let us know whether you're describing pattern 1 or 2? And then as you type, we'll kind of create some ourselves. So let's see. I'm going to take the simple one. In image 1, I might just go with a letter pattern. So I might say, well, I'm going to describe her block tower as an AB sequence because I can see at least those kind of repeating units. What about you? You want to try out image 2?
Sure, I'll take a stab at image 2, and I'm feeling like I want to move a little bit, so I'm going to try using some gestures and actions for my pattern. So maybe I'm going to describe my necklace with a little bit of sound. So I'm going to clap quietly for the white beads. I see a lot of those. I'm going to sharp clap for the angular bead. And then I'm going to do a long slide of my hands for the large coral bead that seems to have multiple little circles or ovals within it. So my symbol or my symbolic representation of this pattern was clapping quietly, a sharp clap, and then a long slide.
Nice. Okay, I'm starting to see chats come in. We know we have our delay, so we're waiting and excited to see what kind of patterns you're all coming up with. And we know it can take a minute to try to describe that in words in a chat.
Michelle, I like that you incorporated another math concept in your pattern with even and odd numbers.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm curious if we can get emojis into the chat. I have no idea. Someone with high level skills. We'll see.
Sherry responded, learn math with rhythm, music, and learning different instruments, or just even tapping or clapping like I did in my example. Those are all different ways of representing mathematical patterns, especially if the same pattern continues over and over again.
Yeah, I can imagine humming something for the tower pattern. That's me trying a high and low.
That was great, Janine.
We have emojis. Awesome. Oh, wow. That one really actually looks like the tower. How did you guys? This is amazing.
These are so creative. Thank you all so much for participating.
Wonderful. Yeah.
I'm seeing some literacy connections as well with capital A and a lowercase o, short vowels, different sounds that can be created.
Oh, and there's our smiley faces just come in too. Wow, these are wonderful. These are beautiful necklaces also that you recreated. Emojis of color. I love that. Oh, we have some foot stomping happening. Some dance moves. Yep. Oh, we've got a couple farm animals too. We have the tower as farm animals. Kitty pig.
Farm animals and some fruits, it looks like.
Oh yeah. Boys and girls. Yep. Here we go. Boy and girl pattern. And that must be our tower. Yep. Wow, this is such a wonderful array of ideas. I like the hearts too. Left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. Nice.
I think one of my favorite parts about this activity is that we can have the same picture, the same pattern, but it can be represented in so many different ways, and there's so many ways to be creative with it. So I'm loving all of the different ideas here.
Yeah, remembering another way we've thought about this is like I think draw a little square, a little triangle, a little square, a little triangle, kind of using shapes to substitute for something. We have, maybe another minute more. If I know a lot of ideas are still coming in. The piano, nice musicality. And there's that rhythm and music and the notes. Yep. Sit, jump, sit, jump. I can also really imagine children really getting into it too. Of course, all those wonderful movement activities to physically explore patterns.
Great way to get our workout in for the day.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Well, shall we pause for a few seconds longer or move into the video last? What do you think? We have a little time.
Feel free to keep going in the chat. We're going to just move on to the next activity, but we really appreciate everyone engaging and hopefully those who kind of suggested those very active ways of representing patterns were actually able to do that even though we weren't able to see you on video. But this is definitely an activity that you could adapt and it's part of our online professional development suites.
Yeah. Okay.
So we wanted to share just one other example of a educator reflecting on their math mindset. So this is a preschool educator, Maritza, and she's reflecting on attending a week-long CAEMI Professional Learning Institute. And she describes how the Institute changed her perspective about being a math person and what it means to do math. And as we play this video, we'd like you to consider whether or not you relate to Maritza's math mindset. And you may even see some examples of her engaging children in math, similar to some of the comments that we've seen here today.
Tall.
So your daddy is this tall, your mommy is this tall, and
am
you are this tall. I always thought, okay, I'm not very good in math. I don't know how I feel about teaching math to the preschoolers if I'm not confident in math. Your cousin Alexa's baby could be the smallest one.
Yeah.
But just going to the institute and really realizing like, okay, everybody can be a math person. Everybody can be good at math. Just kind of opened my eyes like, okay, I can do math. It doesn't have to be just addition or geometry. It can be anything else. This one is the shortest. Shortest is the small. Shortest means small. Longest means the...
All right. So do you relate to Maritza's math mindset? Why or why not? And feel free to share your ideas again in the chat.
As these come in, I'm loving also we have our nature leaves that came in towards the tail end and that tile floor jump, different ways to move. We see some more wonderful, playful examples here and how someone's thinking through their own math experience and can it be fun? How can it be playful?
I remember someone earlier in this session was talking about counting family members as part of one of their earliest math memories. So this video reminded me of that, where this teacher, Maritza, is doing that similar kind of activity where she's using the blocks to showcase the heights of different family members in that child's life.
Yeah. We're starting to see your chats come in. Some people are feeling, like many years ago, I would have felt that way too. Yep. And yeah, we do hope that everyone can grow and get to that more positive, comfortable place, engaging with math, helping children with math. Yeah.
And just to add a little bit of context, that week-long CAEMI Professional Learning Institute consisted of lots of different playful, hands-on activities, different ways of understanding what math is, how different cultures experience math and do math. So a lot of these different kind of professional learning sessions, and it was just 1 week long, and it had this kind of transformative impact on the way that she saw herself as a math person, which was really interesting. And sometimes it takes just, one experience to create that kind of effect. But, as some of these chats are coming in, sometimes it takes years, it takes decades of being comfortable with math and engaging with math in all sorts of ways. So it depends on who you are and the experiences that you have.
I'm also noticing someone talking about their success with math, kind of that actually they needed to pause and think about, well, what does it mean, for someone who doesn't have such a good experience, and how do I learn to kind of empathize and maybe support people in a different way? Yeah, what is doing math? What does doing math look like for different people? How do we expand that idea? A lot of people definitely are relating to her story here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of comments here about what does math actually look like in early childhood. It may be that simple arithmetic or counting or those complex ideas around algebra and operations and spatial thinking that we might feel really comes later in life, but really those practices are very foundational and they are present in early childhood years, and they can be introduced in very playful ways.
I like Grace's comment about, letting young minds explore and be fearless. A big part of that positive math mindset and that link back to growth mindset is, try it. It's okay to make a mistake. Keep going. Learning from your mistakes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for engaging in this reflection. I'm going to just wrap us up today with some take homes. We wanted to leave you with some key takeaways from this session. The first idea is that math is everywhere. Your everyday routines and your lived experiences likely involve some kind of math. And the way that you recognize and interact with math can help shape how you feel and think about math in general. The second idea is that math mindsets matter, and the language that you use to communicate about math, and hopefully it is that growth mindset language, can have a very lasting impact on your math mindset and others' math mindsets. The third takeaway is that math is for everyone. Everyone has the ability to learn math and be a math person, regardless of gender, race, culture, ethnicity, ability, language, or socioeconomic status. And finally, math is fun and playful, and engaging in playful math experiences can support more positive associations with math, and that can help us develop those more positive math mindsets. So to close out today's session, just one last question for you to respond here in the chat. Which one of these 4 takeaways really resonates with you? Or which one of these do you feel is most important in building your math mindset or the math mindset of others? And feel free to share why as well. As we see these chat coming in through the chat, I'll share my personal favorite. I think for me, the first one is that math is for everyone. That really resonates with me. Being a former math teacher and recognizing that not all students really saw themselves as math people, just being able to empower them with those skills and knowing that they are capable and they are able to excel in math was was crucial for me as an educator.
I have to say, again, a 3.5-year-old who's asking a lot of questions right now. Math is everywhere. It's definitely fun and playful too, so it's hard between. But just earlier looking up at an airplane, and so it was right away. How high is it? And then it's like, and what are we measuring with? So it is. It's really. I mean, math could be anywhere, anytime.
Seeing some reflections here about math stereotypes and how that informed them and how they viewed how others do math.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know these reflections are going to come in through the chat, but as they do, we'd like to kind of open up for Q&A.
Yes. So, and I will also repost that link real quick too for more information. Back into the chat.
And as we shared at the beginning of this session, there are more resources being developed as part of the California Statewide Early Math Initiative, so please stay tuned for those. There are some of the activities that we shared today as well as others. So in the few minutes that we have left, we'll take any questions from the chat about anything we covered in the session or anything about the online professional development suites or the initiative, the Statewide Early Math Initiative as a whole. We really enjoyed being able to spend this evening with you and hearing your ideas and your early math memories and how that shapes your roles as educators and trainers all around the country. And I think we even had some representation from Canada. So thank you for this international audience that we had here tonight and for all of the ideas that you shared.
Yeah, I just want to echo that and say thank you. And we'll stay on in case we see some questions or comments or come popping into the chat. It was really exciting for us to just share this content with you all and really see how it resonated and get your feedback, because we've had a wonderful time developing this material. So yeah, it's wonderful to see it in action. And I'm still trying to figure out how everyone put emojis in.
I know, me too.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. I believe there is a survey that you will receive once you kind of leave this platform and go into the closeout for the evening. But thank you all so much for joining this session. We'll stick around for the next couple of minutes to answer any questions that might come up.
Looking back to the question of what's resonating, I have Sherry says math is fun and playful. You can exercise rhythm, music. Yep.
And the link for the certificate is also going to be as part of the closing remarks.
Okay.
You'll get the link to the survey as well as the certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Judy, for sharing regarding middle school, meeting them where they are, acknowledging their strengths and helping them to recognize challenges. Those are so, so important.
Mm-hmm. And we have some information coming in that I think back in the main session, Haley will point everyone to that link to the certificate.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining us, and we hope that you enjoyed the Early Math Forum, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Thank you all.